Okay, he is now recording. All righty, we're gonna make a little rod handle to set this all up. So we're gonna start with a sketch. So kind of get in the habit, sketch is the first thing. I don't know why it opens into features when you can't do anything unless you have a sketch. It's kind of a programming thing. I don't know. I have never gotten an answer to that. I've asked every year. I'm just not asking anymore. Start your sketch. Let's just go ahead and do this right on the top plane, since we're going to be looking at it from the top down anyway. Makes it easier. And there's our little starting point. So do you all know where your origin point is on your own self? Where is your origin? Yes, Katie. Belly button. That is it. That is where that little teeny tiny little you of one cell connected to mom, and it started right there. Good to know, right? Yeah, left your scar for life. That's all belly button is a big old scar, which is a great way to give injections, is through the belly button. It goes right to the gut. Yeah. Did you, oh, most never, it's crazy. As I say, can you live without a belly button? Yeah, you can. It doesn't do anything. It's just a scar. All right, we're going to start with drawing this rectangle. There are 3 ways we can go about doing this. We can draw it by individual lines. We can draw it with the rectangle command. And in that case, we have 2. We can do it by the center rectangle or by the corner rectangle. Which would you guys like to do today? Ooh, he waits till last to bring up the one that's most efficient. Well, there's center. That's fine. So we change our rectangle then to the center rectangle. Start at the origin point and drag it out. Just like that. And sound effects help. When I'm drawing alone, there's a lot of sound effects. It's a carryover from the days of old. But lots of sound effects. All right, now what we want is the length and the yes. Oh, did you start the sketch? Yeah. Oh, Maynard. Okay, we'll have to restart SolidWorks. There was an issue in there, so this will take a minute. And we're not going to go all that. Yeah, plug it all the way low. We haven't gone that far yet. Oh, look at you all done already. Boy, you overachieving fool, you. Yes, sir. I haven't given it yet. But way to jump ahead. Top view. Yep. All right, here we go. What we're going to do is the width. Width is always your horizontal value. So the smart dimension. Is that loading? Yeah. Slowly. Okay. Go ahead and select the bottom edge. And it's going to come up to whatever number you have. When you place that dimension, please change it to whatever it is to 4.5. That's a nice number. Now, your horizontal, since we did the center method, your vertical lines will be black, your horizontals will be blue. because we now know the distance from the center point. Because it's a center rectangle, it's defined by that distance. Okay, so we want to get to where every one of our lines is black. Okay, now the next one is we need to know our height. So we're gonna do, you can do the left or the right, but we're gonna do it different this time to show you another way. I'm gonna go from the bottom line and then select the top line and do it that way. It's the same thing as just picking off this line. So there's lots of ways to go about picking your definition of size until you do it too fast and the computer freaks out. Please go too fast. We want the height, which is your Y value, to be 0.5. Oh, it's so tiny. Look at my holes here to see what size to do. Okay, now we have a little dilemma. Because we went with the center method, we were missing a center line that would be identified for where the holes go. Now, two of these holes we can do now in the sketch form. Yes. Still connecting up. Okay, hang on. Your sketch. Change your plane. Yep. Okie doke, here we go. So I think in the light that way we've drawn this, typically, let's just go ahead and do it. We need a center line that goes right down the middle horizontally of our rectangle. So they go into our line tool. So it's 4.5 by 0.5. Yes, sir. What are you confused with? Man, I haven't moved you to this over side here. Oh, all right, get your phones out. Thank you. All right. Okay. So you were watching. Extra lighting going on here. It's back in the real world. Back in the right view. Take out the extra light stuff. Make sure as mentioned. Have the other dimension. Okay. Okay. That's good. So here's what I meant. Sir. No. Those diagonal lines, that's what holds it together. As to the center rectangle. We take those out. Well, how do we know what it's doing? It breaks. We don't want to break it. We haven't even made it yet. It's like, well, I'm gonna go out with you, but oh wait, I'm gonna break up with you before you go out. Complicated. Okay, here we go. We go into the line tool and change it from a line to a center line. We're gonna find the midpoint. That's a little yellow square. You kind of float and find them. Just take that line straight across. Make sure it is horizontal. You know it's horizontal because there's a little green box with a horizontal line in it. Woohoo! Horizontal. Yay. Questions? Is that a hand? Oh, good. I don't want to walk over there again anyway. Okay, now we're going to put two holes in. They're going to be on this line you just drew. So I'm going to close out my line tool. You can right click, exit, escape, enter any of those and the command. So one be out of the line command. Super importante, por favor. I think that's all right. Yeah, that's right. Gotta remember which language I'm in. It's complicated some days. We're gonna put a circle, two circles. So I'm gonna do a circle command and just use the circle default, which is center radius, and then place it on the line you just drew, make a little circle there, and then do another one next to it, somewhere like that, just two. Don't go on to the right side, stay on the left side. You're all Democrats today. Well, the Democrats on the left side of the House chamber and the Republicans on the right side. That's the only reason why one's right and one's left. Oh, you didn't? They didn't tell you that in history class? Oh, it's because of the side of the building they sit on. Has nothing to do with them all being right-handed and all being left-handed. That's it's the side of the building they sit on. They have assigned seating. And it says seating is based on seniority. So the ones who've been there longer have the better seats. Yeah, it's a pretty structured system. You guys didn't know that. You just thought people just call them right and left willy-nilly. I am so sorry. You're learning so much. Be grateful, right? Oh, that's so funny. I'm going to find your history teachers and slap them all for you, okay?
Thanks.
Yeah. That's now on YouTube. How joyful that is. Okay, so these circles, we're going to start with sizing one of them. They're pretty simple. They're a lot, slightly more than 1/4 inch, just a little bit, just enough to get pins in without them sticking. When we're using plastic for this, it's still gonna be a little tight fit. Plastic tends to have a little bit more friction coefficient to it, what we use for the 3D print. So we're gonna do a smart dimension, and let's just do the one on the far left. I won't do my political jokes. Is that funny? This is Pelosi. Where they give her size, when they make her bigger than what she really is. Well, I guess in her mind, she's really big, so that's okay. We're gonna make that 0.257 in diameter. Just 0.257. Now, then she's got a friend from New York. Let me know her friend from New York. She went to Texas to help out Texas because, you know, Texans can't help themselves. This is so funny. This will be AOC. I don't know what they. What? I gotta get off the political jokes. I'm gonna get fired. I want these to be the same. Okay, I want them to be the same. So I'm gonna turn off the smart dimension, and I'm not gonna dimension them because I'm gonna make them the same and they use a constraint. Because ultimately, in reality, we're all the same. It doesn't matter. We're all the same inside and out. The only thing that changes is how we process sunlight. Right? So if you're from the Norwegian part of the world, you don't do sunlight very well at all. If you're from the African part of the world, you do sunlight very well. So there's your two extremes. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select the circle edge. You select it once. When you select that one circle, you're gonna see things like you can fix the point. Don't do that. This big old anchor means you cannot move it. Don't do that, okay? That locks it down. That's a boat. You put an anchor, it doesn't move. But if you hold the control key down, that's a C, T, R, L. So there's a little joke in there too, but we won't go that one. That gets into politics, religion, the same class. You can't do that. And then select the second circle. Then you get your constraints, the relationship. They're constraints. And we want to make these, which one do we want to use? Equal. So make them equal. Oh, look at that. They're all the same size. Okay, now we can turn that off by hitting the green check mark. And now we can place them. So we have two types of dimensions. Yes, sir. Okay, well, I selected one. Control key, select the other. So they're both light blue in selection, and then choose equal on the left panel. When it says EQUAL, it could be a qual. Qual. Yeah, really, when you look at that, that doesn't really say equal. It says a qual. English sucks, but that's okay. Equal. Stay the same as equal. That means we're all equality. Deep thoughts. Okay. So like I was about to say, there's two ways we dimension things. One we just did, which is size. We gave it the size of the circle, and we made the other one the equal size. Okay. The second type of dimension you use is location. Where does it go? Okay, so we'll have to use the smart dimension for this one. So they use the smart dimension. This is a little bit more sophisticated than we did before. And they go from the left edge to the first circle's center point. That's a little orange dot right in the middle of it. Make sure you get the dot. Pull the dimension up or down, your choice. Going up is always much more positive than going down. Thank you. But you can go down. I mean, it's your choice in life to go up or down. Left or right. Yeah. Stay in the middle of the road, you get killed that way, but that's okay. And the size of the place here is exactly 1/4 of an inch. So change whatever value you have to 0.25. Okay, now the second dimension starts at the same point. For the second circle, we use the same line again. The line on the far left to the center point of the circle on the far right, as far as go, and we bring that down. And I'm just going to bring it down because I want to show some of this to help you on your test here in 2 weeks. Whoa, yes, mighty one. You float to find the orange circle in the middle. You might have to float to the outside edge of the circle and then back in. What's it saying? Nothing? Okay, hang on. For the rest of you, this value is 1.75. What? Is that right? Yep, that's right. Hang tight. Gotta take my steps. I used to do a pedometer and I thought I was doing like 30,000 steps a day as a teacher. Oh, it's really sad. Okay, so we have to start here. Flow. You might get a little closer. So we'll take off now. Here, get you that. Okay, glad you made it. 0.25 is the first circle. Oh no, you turned yellow. Well, who came on your screen? Yeah, it is. It's a driven. You drive it somewhere. Where'd you drive it to? All right. So what you've got to look at here is you tied it down. So this string right here is a tie down. But that won't do it. So see this little tangent buggy you got here? When you drew it, you made a tangent this line. So take that and leave that one. Oh, look, it's what we did. Yeah, sometimes you get constraints you don't want. Okay. Oh, that's a long walk. It's like going to Tipperary. It's a long way to Tipperary. I don't know where it is, but it's a long way. It's a song we had to sing in elementary school. Okay, so now I have these dimensions. I want you to look at the dimensions we have here. Okay, so everything that is on the screen right now starts from the left and goes to the right, all at the same basic point, this end point right here. This is what's called baseline dimensioning. Here's your baseline, and everything's built off of that line. So they stack and get considerably larger for each element you dimension. That is predominantly the type of dimension you will use in mechanical engineering, because we want one square edge. Because when you're cutting metal or any material for that matter, you want one true edge. And that is your guiding force. We call it a datum point or a reference point. You want material that gives you up to 3 datum points. I mean, most things have 6 sides. So if you can get more points of reference or precision, that makes your product more exacting. And so we want to control that, because I can't control what happens down the road on this thing. I mean, if I'm cutting plywood, for example, I may be using a scrap of plywood that was ripped off the side of a building. That means it'll be all jagged on one end, all yucky, but I might still have what we call factory finish edges, which are cut and made true meaning 90 degrees. You find that in most materials. When you guys go out into the laser, you have that same problem you have to work with. You cut parts out. When you're cutting on the laser for your birdhouse, for example, you hope the sheets are true and square, but the chances are they probably aren't perfectly true and square. So we have to move our part into the middle a little bit without wasting a ton of material. So we're going to talk a lot about efficiency and cutting as we go through these parts, right? So we want to make sure everything works good. So for you guys that are doing your crank toy, you want to get a lot of pieces out of there so you can have it all working right. And become, especially if you those using acrylics, the acrylics are about $22 a sheet. So we don't want to waste material, right? We don't want to waste material. Okay, moving to the next step. What do you think our next step is going to be? What's that? Yeah, but we're gonna do that later. That's what's our last step. Maybe we want to thicken this puppy dog up a little bit, make it 3D. Okay, so features, extrude boss base. Now, because we put holes in here that we're solid, and all these other guys that are center lines, we don't care about them. Make it a 1/2 inch. Change the 0.1, which is the default for the day, to 0.5. Check that sucker dog off and hit your green check mark. And there's your handle, foreman. Ooh, pretty. All nice and pretty. So nice and pretty. So this hole hooks to one slider, this hole hooks to the second slider. We're not talking hamburgers, folks. 0.5. 0.5. Yeah, just a 1/2 inch. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go to our top view. If everybody's in the same view, which should be good, looks like this. We're ready to put our last hole. It's so hard to get to the end, and it's all done. So sad. We're going to use our hole wizard again. And we're going to learn a little bit different things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom up on this right-hand side so we can see things a little more clearly what I'm going to do here. I'm going to keep that circle in just a little bit. Don't worry about the diffusion, okay? Just so I kept the circle or the hole here is just to keep me a reference point so I don't do something silly like roll it over. So I want to make sure I'm on the right side, okay? Which in this case is the top, which is the right, which makes that correct. I should play an English game with you, but anyway. All right, we're gonna put go ahead and go into your features tab, which is where you're at. Go ahead and activate your whole wizard, the whole thing. I know. They're coming up with jokes. I should, but I wouldn't make as much money. I thought about it a lot, but it's contextual, and so you'd have to put everybody through a class first, and then adults don't do well in school. They're a little too stubborn. All right, we're going to use a tap for this, so we're going to use our good friend here, second row, first on the left. Let's think about Peter Pan. It's the star on the right. Peter Pan goes to, right? So the star on the right. Good morning. That means when you go back, let's go to the star on the left, get home. Probably. I have to watch the Tinkerbell movies again with my daughter and see. Everything's in there. She had a marathon with her friends. She's a junior, by the way, in high school. They had a Tinkerbell movie marathon. Oh, slit my throat. All right. Let's do our size. We're still, everything's about the same. We just need to change the size on this because it's still gonna be a through hole. The through hole size that we're looking for is a 10-24. So we're gonna have to scroll up. So we are 10, it's gonna be hashtag 10-24. Okay, that's what we're looking for. It's a little teeny tiny bugger, a little machine screw. So go ahead and click on 1024. And everything's good. It's a through hole, it's threaded, in theory and stuff. And now I need to position it. This is the part that gets a little crazy. Everybody with me? 10-24. You find that? If you're lost, don't wait for the shark to eat you. I'm gonna get a video of people getting eaten by sharks, probably from the Meg or Jaws or something. Except the Meg is so big, there's no blood. It just swallows everybody whole. It's kind of a waste of a movie, really. You know, you got realistic shark size. Okay, underneath steps. So we're now going to the right view. Uh-oh, you didn't draw on the top plane. You drew on the front plane. Okay. Then we have features. And you've got a command going. You still sketch. Bring it up sketch. Okay, features. And then go to the folder. So you're in the sketch grid. Okay. Okay. Sounds fun. What? Huh? Yeah, just click. Yeah, see. You good? You good? Not so bad. Okay. Good night. 4. Yep. Okay. 60 steps. Steps every time. All right, we're back. 60 steps later, and we're ready to go. Now, in the whole wizard, what we need to do is go to position tab. We've got our size. We're on this guy right here on the corner. Middle, not a quarter, he's on the end. Middle row, left end, size 10-24. Click on the position tab. And it says, what do you want it? Okay, this is what this says. In simple search, where do you want me to go? That's all it says. It says that, right? So with your left button, click once on the face that has the hole in it. Ooh, now we're here. Now, some of you will see your origin point there, but we don't want it on the origin point. That would be bad. Okay, we want it over here on this side, but I need it to be in the center. So you've kind of seen it a little bit. As I move my cursor around, I may get a blue dotted line coming from the origin. It's like your mom saying your text, come home, here's the GPS address so you don't get lost, follow it. Okay, so there's a little blue line. That's what you want to find. Find that blue line. Now, if you don't have the origin on your screen, there's another way. You can float over, find the midpoint, and follow that blue line. Okay, these little track lines make it so you don't have to do so much work. They're your running strips. If you're flying a plane, you look for the little dotted lines to land on. Well, land in between them. Don't land on them. They break a lot of lights when you do that. And we pull those across and just place it on the line. I don't care where it is on that blue line, but on the line. Boom. Whew, we did it. Now, once you get it placed, right click and hit select. Then hit your little green checker mark. You have a hole there. So it's positioned, just not located. Okay, so we got a hole. Okay, I'm looking at the far corner, so I do another 20 steps. We get back there in the far 40. Oh no, it's more steps. Okay, well, let's see if we can shut it. We'll do fast steps. Okay, so okay. So this is what's good here. Looks like grab the edge, it's kind of on the side rather than the top. It's a little frustrating sometimes. So you got everything is still set. Set this once, the origin. So somehow you grab that edge. Okay. So click the surface once. Then follow the little blue line. Place on the line. Click once. On the blue, as long as it's on the blue line, you're good. Yep. Oh, they did it. Well, it took me 10 steps to go there, and it took me 66. Oh, those steps. Oh no. You need a sheet for that? All right, I'll get it for you here. I was working on getting the SolidWorks stuff fixed, so I didn't put these on your course, so I apologize for that. Okay, it's gonna be coming out of this printer here in just a minute, sir. All right, now we need to position this exactly where it goes. And we need to see the whole thing to do it because it's baseline dimensioned again. So what we then do is here on the side in your features, after you get the green check mark selected, it'll show a 10-24 tapped hole. Expand that out. You should have 2 sketches in there. It's gonna take it a minute. It's gotta warm up. So just give it just a second. And what we're gonna do is the one that has the lowest number, sketch with the lowest number, we're gonna right click and edit that sketch. There's a hashtag, woohoo, woohoo. So now I'm gonna go into a smart dimension. And they go from the left side all the way to the asterisk. And this value is going to be 4.25. Put your green check mark, exit your sketch. There you go. All right. Questions? That one below number. The one inside here. Go to anything now. So right click, Yeah. Okay. Okay, we're doing pretty good. All right, now we've got this all together. Okay, I'm gonna do a little pause here for just a minute. All right, so we have our part now. Go ahead and let's save this as handle in the same place you did the other stuff the other day. File, save as, and we'll just call it handle. Yes, sir.
What was the distance at the very right?
The one on the right here, it's a 1/4 inch from this edge or 4.25 from the other edge. Okay, now I've got 3 of you, 4 of you that do not have the other parts, correct? Yeah. So much excitement over that. Do you want me to bail you out or do you want to do it on your own? Bail you out. Oh, good answer. Wow, there's one American in the group. The rest of you are probably the French. Yeah, French don't take any money from America unless they need it, but it's like the last resort. Okay, so I'm going to send you guys an email. It's going to take me just a minute to get this all set up. So go to your school email, but I'm going to need each of your emails. So those that need the parts, if you will make your way over to me this time, that means like you, avez-vous, s'il vous plaît, avez-vous. Now that's French. So get up off your butt and come over here. That's what I said. No, there's 2 that care. All right. Email, sir.
STD. I mean, sorry, STD.
PB.
CAZA
CAZA
9536.
9536. That's part you can't get.
Brandon is the. Oh,
Cool. That's you right there. Okay, next. Spell that.
Okay.
Okay, you type it. That's even better. Now I gotta sanitize my keyboard. No, not really. You're safe. Jess Munoz 966666666. You devil child. Thank you much. Anybody else want the other parts? Speak now or die a cold, miserable death. Well, there's 4 machines that they have SolidWorks for the last 2 days. Yes, sir.
I don't think I have the bottom.
You have the bottom piece? Email, sir.
So the bottom piece is like it's the solid square. You
Uh-huh.
have 4 squares and
Okay.
AIDA.
AID,
It's AIDA.
AIDA,
LOGA
LOGA
9576
9576.
at Granite.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you much. Again, last call for anybody that doesn't have all the parts that would like them for the next step. Please come forward. This is how I won't say it. I will get fired for saying it. Hello, my friend. You guys are so quick on the draw. Yes, Jeff. Your top piece is saved. Jeff, what's your email? A little louder. 2 F's. 952. Oh yeah, I got that. There you are, Jeff Griffin. Okay. BIEG. D.
no, it's DI.
DI. Diego. DIG.
DIEG.
EIG.
From the beginning, DIEG.
Okay.
VEGA.
VEGA
9581.
9581. Thank you so much for your attention. Okay, here we go.
ANCH.
ANCHTH.
ADE. I think it's
Oh, all right. Emailed you before. That's sad. All right.
TRADHA.
B V
DHA.
PHAN
9.
9595. Gotcha. Okie dokie, folky. Anybody else? Cool. Makes me happy to supply your every need. It's just to say do nothing, but don't do nothing. Do something. It's always good. Okay, here comes everything. So you're just gonna get all the parts regardless of what you need. Some of you just need a couple of them, but you're getting them all. And because they're still small, if I can send them to you, it will take them a minute to get to you. So be patient. It's got to go 23,000 miles up into space. Then it's got to figure out where it's going to go from there and come 23,000 miles back down to you. Meanwhile, the Earth has moved. So they're on their way. Okay. For Mechanical 3, your materials are en route. So just get an update where we're at. Those that needed the monster dowels are in. And Wyatt, I found a round plate for you because I didn't want to cut circles. I suck at cutting circles. So, someone else has a better job than I do. All right, so your parts are coming in. The rest of us should be in. If you haven't gotten your material order, why? It was due last Friday. Okay, so I'm going to open up something to all of you. I'm just going to tell you about it. If you're interested in it, I will post it in the announcements today. Weber State University, which is who I do concurrent enrollment with for the architectural classes. A week from this Friday, so not this coming Friday, but the Friday in March, they're having a design build day virtual conference. It's more in the construction realm of things, architecture, engineering and architecture, interior design, landscaping, that kind of thing. They're doing a kind of a little workshop. If that's something you might be interested in as a career option and you would like to participate, I just need to get you the information to register. Is that of interest to any of you that are here? It's on a Friday from 8 to noon. It's virtual. Seeing no real jump up and get me a job type thing. Okie dokie. No. Okay. All right. I thought I'd just throw it out there and see if you were interested. All right. Let's see. Jeff, has that email made it to you yet? Because you're giving me my checker. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my top piece and I'm going to speak in an action like this. We'll see if we can answer the cotton here, but also we'll go there. Right? Do that. Have we got that okay? All right, this is the top piece. This is really the only way we're going to be able to identify who gets what, when, and where. Is we're going to go to our top piece and we're going to fix that. Okay. And you're going to have to be pretty dang specific about which one does which. So I've been thinking a lot about this the last couple of days, is how do I brand you and know who you are? I was going to do just initials, but that will not work because 3 of you have the same initials. And that's going to be, I just don't want to deal with it. So we're going to use images to do so. Now, the advanced class, you guys kind of already know how to do this a little bit. So I did think, well, maybe I should make them all villains because, you know, it's COVID, villain, COVID. You know, villain kind of works in there. But then I don't really like villain logos. Villain logos kind of suck. The one that's cool is the, what are they? Autobots and the Decepticons have a pretty cool logo. Oh, yeah. Theirs is a cool one. But anytime you take a good guy and turn him upside down, he's a bad guy. That's always cool. So what I want you to do is you identify an image that we're going to put on. Let me get this oriented so you can see what I'm talking about here while everybody's getting the files. That you can place either in this corner or this corner. I'll let you make some choice on that. Not a very large one and not anything super duper detailed. In other words, it needs to be simple. Okay. Simple is best. Okay. for lots of reasons. Okay. So you're going to want to put something on there that's going to mark it as yours. Yes, we could put your name on it, but that is such a small space. And I do need to teach you how to put text into things. But this is so small, it really would make it complicated. Plus, this is the top you see, so it'll make it kind of look kind of cool. So most of you have favorite logos that you follow. That gets me into another issue, is copyright infringement, which we can't do because they would shut this place down. For schools, everybody thinks schools have like tons of money. They just have good attorneys, but we don't want to be sued. I don't want to be sued. It's not fun. So let's take a look at what we can use. And so we're going to do a little Googling here for a minute. And I'm going to try, and we're going to try not to get into things that are bad. Okay. So I'm going to just do it beforehand, so it's not terrible. And I don't like any of those. Jeez. But it's not my choice, is it? Where's my guys from the west side? Do you tag anything, Mark? Are you a tagger? No. Do you know people that do tag? Some? Okay. We're going to tag your part. Woohoo! We're going to learn how to be graffiti artists. But we're going to do it the white man way, because white boys can't tag. They try, but they're just not very good at it. Unless they got some half blood in there. Any of you white boys taggers? You even know what tagging is? Okay. That joke kind of fell flat. Okay, what I want you to do is, I just did a search on the internet, which is like Google, and I did just graffiti art letters. I was going to do tattoo art letters, but those are just fonts and they're boring. But graffiti art is one of those things that in America we don't appreciate enough. There is a true art to it. I can't do it. I have tried. I've gone through so many cans of spray paint trying to tag my fence. It's not even fun. And it looks crappy. So now I have to paint it white again. But tag art, there's a real flair to it. So what I'd like you to do is, and because of the variety that's in this, is find your initials, two, first and last. And I know for some of you culturally that's complicated. Like in the Latin community, you have your mom's maiden name and your dad's surname as well. Just whatever works for you. If you can squeeze three, then great, but two is pretty much the space we've got. So you want to find your initials, and you want to find a style that you like. You want the majority of the alphabet in one view. That's to make it easier. I'm pretty open to just about any of them. The reason we use the letters, if you get into other graffiti art, most graffiti art is pretty clean, actually. It's not an eyesore type thing. It's only when you get people in rebellion mode that things get a little crazy. So graffiti art, if I had my way with the city, we'd embrace it. And we'd have people paint the mountains on the side of the freeway, because I can't see any mountains now anyway. And you guys don't remember a time you could drive down I-15 and actually see the mountains. Now I have to look at a concrete wall. But you want to just kind of find a style that you like, and it can be any image you want. The cleaner the image, the better. So for example, Barbara here, that you could do, but it doesn't give you all your letters, but this is kind of what you're looking at. Now, what we're going to do to this is then take us away from any copyright issues, because it will not look like this when you're done, but it's going to give you a little bit of exposure of what you can do. And that's kind of what I want you to look at. So I think for what I'm going to do on the example, and Jeff, did that email get there? Okay, I'm stretching and styling here. So I'm going to find one that has, and if you find one that has your letters in it, so maybe you've got your CE as your initials, and you like the piece, then go with the piece. You will have to extrapolate a little bit to finish that C out. You want the letters to be as complete as possible. It will make it a little easier for you. So I think what I'm going to do for mine, and I'm looking because oh, what do I like? What do I like? What do I like? Not liking much right now. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? Yeah. We'll go back up to where it was because usually the first thing is always the best thing. Yeah, this is probably going to use. Probably use this one. Yes, sir.
There's a barbershop.
Uh-huh.
Voice. You want the rice over the wall. It's like making muscle and body.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. That's really cool. Yeah, it's really cool. That's one of the better ones in the area.
My dad is like good friends with the owner.
Oh yeah? Yeah, I mean, if you want, if you're going architecturally, if you have a business that you run when you guys get older and you want to keep it from being a gang marker zone, pay someone to graffiti the wall. That is one thing that it's just respected. Graffiti art is, it's usually just a respected piece of art. And if you go into Europe, they've kind of figured that out. They pay people to graffiti the walls and their bridges and their freeways, and they embrace it. It's an expression. So I'm gonna use this style right here. It's just because the letters are somewhat separate, so I can see them a little bit and kind of work with them. And it'll give me an idea. The reason we're only doing two is you guys can get a little frustrated with it, this part of it, but it's how we fix things. So let's say you are in a shop and you need to reproduce the dog gear for a 1957 Chevy, and the dog gear goes in the transmission, so you know where that's at. And there's none available and you need to reproduce it. So we'd go to your shop's catalog system, which would be the Chilton Repair Manual. Chilton Repair Manuals used to be books that were put out for every car made. They're now all online, but for 1957, you then go to the book. You then scan the image in and reproduce the part off the picture. And that is one of those skill sets that lets you do things that we don't really think about. But if you're restoring a vehicle and you need to make the part, then you need to make the part. And you need to find your references. So it's kind of leading towards that. Okay, so we found an image you wanted to work with. Okay, now if you want to freehand it, that's cool too. But just so we have something to work with. The technique here will help you in other projects you're doing this semester as we move from this quarter into next. So I'm going to take these letters and then right click and then do save image as. Make sure it's save image as. Why is that question? Okay. Now, when that comes up, oh, suck, I got a copyrighted image. This says a WEBP file. I can't use that. It has to be either a BMP file or a JPEG. If it says JFIF, that is also a copyrighted lockdown file. You won't be able to use it. SOLIDWORKS can't read those. They're encrypted. Yes, sir. PNGs will work. Yes, PNGs will work. So absolutely. So I guess I have to go to this. It's more anime. That's not really graffiti, but okay. Nope, not gonna do it. Can't do it. Just can't do it. I can do that one. And by being I can do it, I mean I like it. So it needs to be a JPEG. I'm just gonna put it in my downloads because when they use it once, I'm just gonna put letter because I don't care what I call it and then delete it afterwards anyway. Unless you do it. Now I used to pay students to do my bulletin boards at the other high school I taught at because we had a lot of taggers, and it was a way to keep them from being unruly in class. So if you need an alternative lesson plan, that's one of them. Okay, so let's just save this. Okay, now we want to get everybody saving it before we move on because I don't want to lose you on this technique. It is a little bit of trial and error, a little bit of rational thinking, which is another way of saying critical thinking, which means think. Okay, I don't know why Education Solved says that we want to make you critical thinkers. We just want you to think. Okay, that's well, the critical part. Well, don't worry about that. Just think. That's all I want. Okay, we'll break it down to its basic form. Okay, has everybody got an image? Anybody struggling with an image? Anybody not have an image? Speak now, or I'll leave you in the dust, and I'll let the vultures pick your bones clean and white. Okay, here we go. So my image is saved. I know where it's at. Make sure you know where yours is at. We're back into our top part. Jeff, did that file get there yet? Ah. Did you hit a refresh? Did any of the others of you get your emails yet? This is the problem with school email. It's got like 14,000 firewalls. Are we sending anything inappropriate in the email? No, it's a freaking drawing file. Leave me alone. You good? Nothing yet? Okay, we can't go on this that top part. Dang it. It always takes forever. Let me see if there's another way I can get these to you. You guys have access to Google. Well, I got email that to you too. Let's see, what can I do to make this faster? I know, it's so crazy. I guess that's, I'm just so old schooling it, you know, it's like, here, let me get that copy from the Xerox and you can now pass this around the room so y'all have a copy of it. Make sure you put your name in the top left corner, staple on the top right corner, so it's opposite of all your other teachers, because that way we'll know it's my class, not their class. Conformity. I don't like to conform, which is probably why I'm the way I am. I also teach way different than other teachers teach, so it's kind of crazy that way. All right, here we go. We're going to speed this thing up. All right, starting here. Zoom on these 4 steps. 4 steps. You need a piece, right? Okay, so what I need you guys to do is go in your File Explorer, open that up to where you save the files. There's a screw cut. So features. You go to screw cut. And then you have to wait because you come back in, you have to pick each one. Oh, we got these are the sketches. And sending through all. That's why you need it?
No,
We do that.
I need the like bottom.
Okay. So in your File Explorer, open that up to where you've got all your parts saved. Okay, so just going in there. Okay. Bottom. You guys all good here? You guys need parts. You need parts? No. You need parts? Okay. Top row. You need parts up here? Yeah. Need parts. Are you ready for me? This is the instructions I gave. All right, where's your file saved at? I know you're 20 something away. This way. Where are you on? They're not here. Go down. They're not in a folder. What? Okay, that's one up. It's the folder. In here. Okay. You guys need to take a bathroom break. This is gonna be the best time for you guys to do it. It's gonna take just a minute. Which part did you do? Give you parts too. No. You ready? Yeah, it's copy and save. There. And you need this one. You have to get. Sorry. What's that? Oh, that's got it. She doesn't need any parts? No. That, you guys. You get everything. Yeah, well, you just get it. Well, that took less time than I wanted to. You got everything? You got everything? You got everything? You got everything? Everything for the do nothing? Okay. Well, now I got to go to the bathroom. All right. Ooh, doggy. Ooh, doggy is an expression from the Beverly Hillbillies. So where I picked that up when I was 6. Silly things. All right. Now I gotta get everybody back. How many of your neighbors went to the restroom? You got one back there, just 2 of them? Okay. All righty. Fun days. Here we go. This is Wednesday. So I don't see you guys until Tuesday. It's like a whole week. So do you guys want Fridays back to normal school? Or do you want to leave them as distant learning days? Okay, be ready. There'll be surveys coming out soon for the district to make choices. Because obviously the elementary teach parents want their kids out of the house, but you guys are mostly probably have jobs on Friday now, don't you? You just hang out, sleep in day. It's like the best late start ever.
I mean, I work in the school district, so
Oh.
even on Fridays, I'm still not allowed to work. in school hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it doesn't bother me.
Well, they've mopped my floor right in the middle of the freaking day here. Okay, well, that's the way it goes. Okay, let's hope those guys get back here pretty quick, because this is a whole new concept. I really don't want to lose them. Nor do I want to lose anybody that's online. How you guys doing online? Frank, you good? Oh, wait. One more's got to get in. Oh, I got a big thumbs up from Frank. Macy, you doing good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, cool. It's my one hope. So it's a good deal. Okay. No, there it comes. Got to put a little in second gear, man. Well, maybe in first gear would be good. We're just coasting. Okay, pull the door. Pull the door. Pull the door. Pull. Pull. Thank you. All right, we're ready to go. This is called sketching your somebody else's stuff. Okay. Now, because we've done these in arrays before, we did these circles, did one circle, we reproduced. Remember that? We're gonna probably do the same thing with what we're gonna do. So what I'm gonna do is choose where to start and where I want my my marker to go, and probably gonna put it right here. So it's here and here, here and here. It's kind of how it's gonna be. Here, here, and here. Think about how things going. So I want an area that's a little bit of space for it, and I only want to do it once, okay? Because doing it multiple times can be annoying. And I'm going to show you a way to do it really quick. So again, we're still learning, but I'm trying to find projects that let you learn the most. Everything we've done is applicable to everything you're going to do. And you got to read for Mechanical 1. You guys got to bring all your birdhouse parts in and make them into 3D to make sure everything fits. It's gonna be a lot of work for some of you. Some of you can go, well, I don't have it done yet. Well, Fridays, come in on Fridays. There's nothing going on here all day Friday. Some days I don't even turn the lights on because there's no one here but me. Okay, here we go. Go ahead and start a sketch. Activate the sketch and select the surface of whichever block you want to start with. And again, that's your choice. because choice makes you able to think. Now, at this point, this sketch that I just started will only hold the picture you're about to bring in. Super important you remember this. Only the picture. Okay. Okay, now we're going to go up to the top to where it says tools. There's a tools pull down. Click on that. So we're going to use a new tool. It's like, Dad's gone. I get to use the shop. Just make sure you put the tool exactly back. He's going to beat you. Actually, your dads don't beat you anymore. You guys didn't grow up in the age of the belt and the boot.
I didn't.
You did? Oh, good. You're a good person. Okay, so in the tools pull down, go all the way down to find sketch tools. So tools, sketch tools. Everybody find that? Be lost. Because if you get lost now, yes, sir, where you at? Go to the tools of the pull down at the top where it says file, edit, view, insert, tool, simulation window. You find that? Okay, so tools, sketch tools. You have to do a little slide over and go down to sketch picture. Click on sketch picture. Now at this point it says, well, what do you want to bring in? Go to wherever you have saved. Yes, sir. Have you activated the sketch? You have to be in a sketch. That's the scene being left off before it blows. Now, we won't wear this. They never told where to draw you. So see the shell box? You gotta start here and you can sketch. Then tools, sketch tools. Now okay. Okay, find that picture that you're gonna use. And I gotta remember where I put mine now. It's been so long, I walked the world twice.
You put it in the
I did. And I gotta find it. Letter. And I open it up. Now, don't get going too crazy just yet, folks. It could be super big. It could be super small. You don't know. It's based on whoever made this thing. So you need to we need to figure out a size so that the letters you're going to use fit in that little area there. Okay. Now we can't really go in and say, how do I measure a picture? You can't do that because they're put in the internet by pixels. So we don't really know what the original size of this was because it's a photo. However, here we go. We're gonna have some fun here. Over on your side panel is that questions of galore. Okay, what's the first question? It takes a minute. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay. Over on your side is a set of coordinate manipulations. Okay, these are your properties. So let me kind of go through them before you mess them up. Okay, so the top one works the position on the x-axis. Notice your picture should be in the corner of 0, 0, 0. So if you use, I usually just use these little down arrows and you can shift this sucker back and forth. So that's the sorry, that's the x-axis. Then you have the y-axis, up and down. There's a rotation. I wouldn't mess with the rotation yet, but you can rotate it as well. You can click, 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 and you can click, 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 back. Click's a fun word, or you can zero back out to normal. Then we have two other values. There is the X size and the Y size. If their check marks are in here, the enable scale tool and the lock aspect ratio, you change one, they both change. So you can go shrinky dink it. Anybody make shrinky dinks in your life? Anybody know what a shrinky dink is?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
I don't know, something, some part of time.
Yeah. So we can bring this down. Now that's gonna take us a lot of work, okay? And we can get down that size. So shrinky dink, for those that don't know, a number 6 plastic, which is usually what's the clamshell that your sandwiches come in, the little clear plastic casings. If you put them in an oven that's at 225 degrees and you mark on them with a marker, a permanent marker, you make a drawing on them, then they shrink down and thicken to like medallions or ornaments, or it's just a reuse of plastic type thing. That's a shrinking. We used to call them liver lid projects, but no one eats liver anymore. Okay, so on this, when we get down here a little bit, I need to fit in this area. And so what was the size of these? You guys remember? No, you don't, because that'd be a silly thing to
Well,
remember.
They're like 4.
It was 4 inches square originally, right?
Yeah.
About approximately?
3 point.
Yeah, so they're probably about 1.5 inches, right? So if we get our letters to where they're about a 1/2 inch tall, that'll kind of get us there. Now the size here, so you know, is from the blue dot to blue dot going through the middle. Okay, so there's X and Y's. I'm 11 inches right now across this. If I want to get those letters to fit, I probably want to get down to maybe 2 inches across as a starter. Yes.
What is that? I'm guessing the blue line that's shown up is important because of the picture. Like, shown for-
This guy up here.
Yeah.
This is a scale tool. You can actually slide that and it'll change it. I don't use that because it's not as accurate, but you can use this to scale with as well. You can just kind of slide it back. It gives you a reference. It's kind of a reference thing. I believe I've got it disabled on all your machines because it's so inaccurate. So I'm going to start here with my X value.
I have it, shouldn't it? 'Cause I wonder, like, should I get rid of this somehow?
You can't get rid of it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just going to be there. Just ignore it.
Good.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is where my X size is, I'm just going to wipe that all out and put a 2 in. And then if I click in any of the gray areas, it'll bring that size down. Okay, now I'm looking, and you didn't make a judgment call. You have to make the judgment call on this. Will the letters fit if you eyeball them? Maybe so, maybe not. Okay, maybe I can go a little bigger. You can adjust a little bit and change the size. That's maybe I can probably get them to work. Okay, and I think I'm gonna go with this. Now each of you will be different because you're each using different images. So they're not going to be an absolute, do it exactly like I'm doing. You're going to have to take and say, okay, I like it. I can make it work. If it ends up that what you've chosen is too big or too small, there's always a way to fix it. That should be your number 1 life rule. There's always a way to fix it. Okay, especially in engineering. Always a way to fix it. Doesn't matter what it is. If you kill someone, we can't bring him back, but you may fix it. Okay. If you kill a dog, we can stuff it and they can keep it forever then. Sometimes that's more satisfying for them. So, okay, now, so I'm gonna go with this. Now I could position this over the exact place I want it. I don't need to do that. One, I can't see through the image. So for me to take the time and position it over the exact spot I want it, it's going to be more of a waste of my time because then I still have to reposition things anyway. For my name, my initials are, this is a good one to go to elementary school with, TP. That's a great, when you in elementary school, put down your initials and then you get the whole joke crap going on. So anyway, live with it, work with it. So I've got a letter P here and a letter T over here. They're not even in the right order, okay? Nor would they be because it's an alphabetically ordered picture. So I'm gonna have to do them each separate anyway. So part of the thinking is knowing when to stop thinking, right? Okay, I don't need to go any further, I can do it. So I'm just gonna hit the green check mark because I'm happy with my size. And don't do it unless you're happy with the size. Okay, and then I'm gonna exit the sketch. Now, like I was saying, this sketch here is only for the image. It's really important you keep it separate because if you make a mistake, yes, please. You can't exit the sketch. Well, that's kind of mean. You get it? Then I walk over here for Lana. You are going to have to change it somehow. Okay. So if you can do a little personal flair to it, that'd be fine.
So you got shit on me.
That doesn't quite cut. Okay, thanks. All right, touch on the back for condition. Yeah, just kind of put something else with it. Okay, all right. Well, that was fun. Okay, so we're gonna start a new sketch. Okay. Now, and I'll try to explain why we're doing these separate. But I'm gonna start a new sketch, pick the exact same thing again. Okay, whatever you picked before, pick again. One of these surfaces is fine because I need it on that surface anyway. Okay. Now, if you don't have two sketches down here now, redo it, make a new sketch. Make sure you've got the pictures separated. It just makes life so much easier. It really does. Okay. So I'm going to start with the letter P. Let's see, N-O-P right there. So I'm going to zoom up on it. Now, the thing about graffiti letters, they tend to be rather blocky, which makes this part a little easier for you to start with. When you're doing things like, well, in my world, when I do other work outside of teaching people, when I'm doing restoration or I'm doing cosplay products for clients and they need an exact copy of a ray gun in some obscure movie that I've never seen, they get pretty picky that it looks exactly like the ray gun. So detail becomes really important. Well, this is how you do that. And some of you will find that what you're learning, you may not ever be an engineer, but you may be a maker. You may start making things and doing things. And Utah is really good for making makers into millionaires. We have a lot of millionaires in Utah. We have a lot of billionaires now too. All right, so I'm just gonna use my line tools now. Because my sketches are separate, I can draw over the top of the picture, just like you did in elementary school when you cheated. Oh wait, that was last week. I graded your stuff. So I'm not gonna worry too much. These are really blocky, so I don't have to worry about any arcs or anything. It's just blocks. So I'm just gonna take my line. I'm gonna pick an edge to start with. Oh, there's an arc there. Dang it. Spoke too soon. I use the 3-point arc here and pick an eyeball point. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just got to look good. That's all that matters. Perfection. By the way, things that are too perfect do not look good. Have you guys seen the movie Titanic? Okay, when that movie was first done and it went for the audience review, so I'm just tracing over everything here. If you make it different, that is fine. Whoa, I just messed up my drawing. In the movie Titanic, it was so perfect the way they did the ship that people thought it was cartoonish. So they had to go back and spend another 6 months putting rust and dirt and smudges and sea foam to make it look like it's a real vehicle. We now do that with all of our CG stuff. We make it pristine and perfect, and then we mess it up. Well, I just messed up. This is going to happen to a few of you where you can no longer see what you're doing. That's where you need to deal with your view orientation. Just go back to where you're supposed to be. You're going to have a weird line out there. And when you make these kind of pick on try and move your mouse around the wrong way by hitting that roll button, it's going to just throw a line out in space. Fortunately, this one's not too bad. I've had lines that were probably equivalent to a light year because I got startled or I wasn't paying attention. When that happens, go ahead and cancel all your line, delete the mistake, and then zoom back in on where you were left out at. And then just pick up again where you left off. There's the end point of my line, and I'm just, again, trying to, and now I've got a problem here is this letter is overlapping, so I'm going to guesstimate where that's going to go. And if it's not right, I don't care. It doesn't matter if it's perfect or not. It just has to look good. Okay, there's my letter P. Oh, got to put the hole in the middle. Otherwise, it's an A. Yep, so you're just tracing off the initial, putting a little style flair to it. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, well, I'm doing that one. These are the same height and scale. So now I'm gonna do the T over here. A lot of it missing, so I'm gonna guesstimate. So that's gonna come down. I'm just gonna flare that up. Do my own little thing to it. Not worrying too much if it's a dead on accurate, because the less it matches, another arc, then the less likely I am to get caught for a copyright infringement situation. Because that would be bad. Oh, that doesn't look so good. So I did an arc here. Now, I look at the arc, and I'm going to show you why these are in different views, okay? So I've got my arc that I'm trying to get here. It doesn't match even closely. Not that it needs to, because I'm just using this as an idea base. But if you're trying to get things exact, if I come back over to sketch 7, which is my picture sketch, and you can actually do a couple things. You can right click on that and you can rename it. So if I rename that, I can just put image in there. So I know I'm not to put anything else there. Just right click and rename. It's just like any Windows thing we have. But what I can also do if I right click on that is there's an eyeball with a slash through it. If the slash is through it, that means you can see it. It's kind of an opposite thinking thing. I want the eyeball to be open. Oh, my picture's gone, but my sketch is left. So I can now see how those letters look without the picture. If I want the picture back, I right click and close the eyeball and my picture comes back. That's why they're in separate sketches. So I can do a, does this match? Does this work? Can I before and after it and look at it? So that's gonna be really important as you start to do decor on your birdhouse. But maybe you want to put little daisies along the ground line. Maybe you want to put shingles in it. You get a picture of shingles and you trace them off. And someone just scored. Was it a 2-pointer or a 3-pointer or a 7-point? Well, you just put up the score sign.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So now I'm going to come back in and fix my art. I don't take out the one that's bad because the bad one gives me an idea where I want to be. And I can just kind of now do this in multiples. And I'm going to overlap. I'm going to try and get close and see. I'm not going to go at the end point. I'm going to go back a little bit and start over on top of it. And then come down to this point. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hide my image again. And I can see this is kind of a mess. And I can't make a 3D object out of a mess like this. One, I've got these endpoints that are not connected, and I've got lines that overlap. So I can clean that up easily by taking that one out. And then I use a constraint tool to fix the other one. So this arc that comes down, I select one arc, hold the control key, select the other arc, and then make them tangent. Okay, so if I make them tangent, that smooths out that line. It makes it a little cleaner. And then when I zoom up, I still have a double line issue. So that's when we go to trim entities, trim to closest, and remove the line that's at fault. Now I have a nice, perfect arc made from 2 arcs or more if need be. Okay, so then I can go back, bring my image back where I can see it again. And now I can go finish out this little letter nightmare that's taking way longer than I normally would have, but I'm in teaching mode and teaching takes a while. And I'm just gonna block those out real quick and try to get that letter. And again, oh, another giant arc, silly swooping thing. Connect A to B and whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, that looks so good. Okay, now I've got my 2 letters done. At this point, I'm going to exit the sketch. Are you? Some of you are still drawing. I don't want to go too fast. Some of you are still learning to use the tools. I don't want to leave you in the dust. Maybe on the side of the road, but not in the dust. You good? This is better than doing worksheets, huh? Oh, good. Someone said yes, because I was going to turn the worksheets back on. Someone's knocking on the door. Quick, let them in. I need to get my sound machine going again. Hello, Moto. All right. Give me just another minute or two here. Get your letters all drawn out. Fortunately, letters are relatively slick. Most of you, and if you go to the architectural school, one of your first assignments will be, or if you go into design school, so interior design, art design, graphic design, any of the design fields, one of your first assignments will be to design your own font. And it's a pretty complicated thing to do to make a unique font. So kind of keep that in mind a little bit. Okay, we good? Who needs more time in your initials? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Play it again. What was that? Hearing voices. Voices, everywhere voices. On my phone. While we're waiting, I want to give you a little bit more information about your wonderful state you're in. On Monday, those that are 18 and older with health issues like asthma and heart disease and diabetes are eligible for the shots. Yeah, so that's 18 to 65 will be the group range then. That means really by the time we get through April, you guys should have your shots. At least your first round. Unless you get the Johnson & Johnson one that comes out next week, you only get one shot. So that's good. That's the sooner you guys get shots, the sooner the masks go away. And we can breathe fresh air, not recycled air that we breathed 4 times already in the last 2 minutes. Okay, we good? No? How many letters you doing, man? Oh, you chose to do something your own freaking way, didn't you? And it was more work than I planned for, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go ahead.
Agency, that'll stupid employment. Okay, once you get your initials all done, go ahead and hit your green check mark and finish your line. Get out of your line.
Oh, sorry. How do you redo a command?
Usually you can either hit the X or the green check mark or hit escape. The escape key.
I just erased all my letters on accident. How do I redo?
There is if you did how did you delete them? It depends how you did it.
I did it like undo.
There's no way to bring them back.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a redo. Sorry. I've done that many a time. Happens, yeah. Okay, so when you guys get done, and sorry about that, Macy, I feel for you. I know it's bad. Hide your image. Hide your image so it's not visible anymore. That leaves your 2 initials definitely not necessarily where you expect them to be or how you expect them to be. Okay. We now need to position them where we want them to be. So what we want and what we get, if you work carefully, you can have both. Okay, it's like having your cake and eating it too without losing your head. That's a Marie Antoinette situation for those that told the peons to eat cake. I mean, that'd be great. French cake is really good. It's got like a ton of butter in it. So, but anyway, just drop the sign. Okay, I'm gonna zoom up here. Yes, sir.
I remove my letters.
I'm gonna show you that right now. So I've got my letters I'm ready to move. I really need them in the other order. So I'm gonna start my first initial, which is T. And well, you don't have to knock, the door's open. But that's okay. Thanks for knocking. I'm giving you crap, Simon, I'm sorry. Up here in your sketch tools, you have a thing called Move Entities. Now, it's not as easy as in, well, actually it's a little easier than AutoCAD. When you click on move and activate the command, it says, what do you want to move? It has this little blue box that shows up. You can go through and pick each element one at a time, or you can drag a window around it and get them all at once. I prefer to drag a window. It's a little faster and I'm likely not to miss one. Okay. Now, what you want to look here at the bottom of that list is a box that says keep relationships. What that allows you to do is when you move it, you don't, if you leave something behind, it will still grab anything you missed and pull it with it, but it'll leave the part you didn't select that's not connected. So you might have a string on it thing happen. You can go ahead and turn that on for this because you should be able to get everything. It'll also help it from making a mistake on there. Then you have what are called parameters. So the one that you want to use is the from and to point. From what point to which point? The X and Y means you put in the exact coordinates. None of you know those. So why make your life stressful by trying to do something you don't know? That's like having you go and turn leather hide into a sofa. Okay, most of you don't know how to do that. So I'm going to do the start point, and I usually pick an element on the shape I'm moving. So it could be an endpoint, it could be a line, midpoint, any part of that, or it could be out here in space. If you're one of these people like to be out in space, that's fine. But I like to pick part on it, and then I can move the whole thing and kind of position it where I want it. Now, and then just place it where I need it to be. Okay, now if you want to do a rotate, maybe you want the angle to be a little different, you can do that as well. It's inside the move. So we have our move entities. We hit this little black down arrow. We can copy items, we can rotate items, we can change their size, we can stretch them. But if I want to rotate, which is where I'm at now, we hit rotate. Again, I want to select my parts, so I window them all. Pick the center of the rotation point, and maybe it's going to be this midpoint right here. And then you can put in the actual angle you want, or you can do these little up and down arrows and click and like you're in a fit until you get exactly where you want it. Yes, sir.
Is there a way to make all the green properties like high?
You don't want to see your elements anymore?
No, I've got like 30 around one of my
Okay.
batteries.
Yeah, there is. Okay. So he's talking about these little constraint markers, my tangents, my parallels, my lockdowns. If you're tired of seeing those, now, if you hide them, you need to remember how to unhide them, okay? So up across the top, let me get this up here a little bit, where you have this eyeball, the hide show items, okay? Hit that down arrow. And if you see this chair, which is actually the relationship for perpendicular, just turn that off and they go away.
Okay.
Bring it back on, click the chair again, and you can see it. Okay. So just remember that they're there and you don't want to forget that they're there. Okay. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move again because I've rotated it, has a different position. I'm just going to move my letter T again. Same process, a little bit of practice for you. Kind of push it over to where I want it. And then I'm going to move the letter P. Now, when you get these too close, the window doesn't work for you. So if you're going to do a rotate on both letters, you may want to do those separately. Okay, so what's kind of how we want to work that out. Okay, oh, great. So I'm going to rotate first, and I don't remember what to rotate this. There's no way to go back and look. So if I do a rotate now, like so, and I pick my center again, where that's at, then I'm going to be more of an eyeball mode. And it's fine if they're perfect or not before I do the move. So again, move from to, pick a point, and I can place that where I want it to be. Okay. Don't overlap them for this. You'll save us a little bit of grief. Just put them side by side so your initials are there in the corner. And so we'll give you a few minutes to work on that. and Atticus needs some help. I'm gonna wear this floor out. I'm gonna go this way so I have an even distribution of walk paths. Stop drinking water, man. It's from. On this one, we moved it, so what you thought you got some of the stuff. So you set equals and parallels, that's what's kind of good. So because so we need to find, you know which line it was? This guy right here. Okay, that's when you move the other way, right? So let's do. Okay. So the arc here and the arc here share the same center. So the way to do that is take this tie down, right click and delete that out. So now when you do remove, whoa, now questions are flying. Bigger? Yeah, there is. Let's get back to the sketch. Are they both the same sketch? No. Oh, child. All right. You can't do both at the same time. That's what I'm saying. You have to remember what we studied by. There's some wisdom in what you did. There's also some frustration. Okay, so we're going to go into this one first, I guess. So I will show you. So you can see this. Yellow. Okay. So under your move, just scale. You have the same shape box. Window, what you want. You can click stop. This is where it's a little tricky. You might remove the part. So think that now. One is 100%. That's what you have. So anything greater than one is increase. You got one. How much bigger you want to make it? Is that much off? Let's go 3. Okay, so we do 3 there, and then we chop that up. That's how we. Now you want to probably leave that there, maybe. Yes. And then we go over to this other one. This is like a stupid Disney movie. See, other one. Now how do you use it? Okay. You got it? Oh my goodness, yeah. What's up, Buttercup? I do your observation going into my. Same thing, I know. No, we need to put you in a better spot. Okay, so we've got your picture here. You're happy with the stock, right? So check it off. And now we're going to go to the sketch. Exit out of sketch. Okay, so we got one that's a picture. We don't know what this is. There's nothing in it. Okay, now we're going to create a new sketch. See the outside. This one after your picture, so now you just trace your reps. Take the 6. And now trace your reps. Which one we do? B. Okay, so you look on see which you're doing. Take your line and do your arc. So there's no point. Your line or your arc. I would change the picture. Okay. All right. We're going to do like more lines. Okay, go to the next row for. Oh. You got it. You guys got it. You got it. It looks good. Let's question. Oh, you tied it down there, did you? Okay, well, you can do a couple of things if you hide your strengths. Okay, so what you have to do, that's why I don't hide my constraints. You tie it to the edge. So you right click, delete that. Then you can move this point. But you've got these that put the loop. You have a lot of constraints. So you need to slide the text up here, right? Just for the line. That, and you trim forces. And back here. I find it a little bigger, scale it up. Because you know, how many of you need to scale, make it bigger? One. Okay. And then you can move. Scale. Select your elements. Maybe over one is increased. You can just kind of pull that out. Okay. Question up here? Yep. Look, I don't know if you're wrong. We're going to about 2 seconds. We'll get back to this. Yep. Good. It's different. It is. Oh. Whoa, child. Okay, I'm just saying I have 4 minutes of panic to try and extrude. Okay, you have lines overlapping lines and endpoints that way. And I can see that from here. I'm old. Or you'll fix it some way. Okay. No, not into the woods. That's such a chip clip.
Hey, I'm sorry.
The fact you watch the musical, lowers your.
I added the stripes. Shake it, come on.
Yeah.
You can shake it up and get
The same way you do it.
couldn't watch it in the.
Where are you at? So it's all drawn. Okay, where's the picture? So we have one sketch that's pictured and one sketch that's aligned. So they're separated. Okay, white voice, we stop.
That's messed up.
No, it's white voice always on more work. Because I know what the other ones are gonna be at, there's an easy, but white voice just, I don't have to listen, I'm special because I'm me. So you didn't try it again and get a different picture? Okay. All right, well, here's my problem. When we exit this, and we look in here, it's got your picture with the letters. They're all merged into one thing. Oh, suck. My lines are part of my picture. Oh, they become one. It's like they were married, but they didn't want to. So now I have to live together forever. Because it's 2200. You, well, okay, you wanted it. Here we go. You want some divorce. I go in here, I just send that away. Okay. So there's your lines, right? Okay. I should send that the other way.
Oh, wow.
You do the move.
No, I watched the market.
Mark, give me your guide.
Amazing. I'm amazing.
What here if you want it. Okay, now my concern is Stanislav Range. So you got like these all lines. This should be like this guy right here. that up a little bit. And, all right. Way to go, white boy. Okay, anybody else that I can ridicule, because I want to be equally disparaging to all races. Yes. Sir. Right? How many letters you making? 5. Wow, really, way to go above and beyond. Okay, sketch up your pictures. Okay, so come here, we hide that. And now we're gonna take the remove tool. So you can go around them. And then it's going to start from. So this guy's tied to this edge. So you have to look at when they do that. So this one, just right click and delete those relationships. And then you can move it like that. You can move like you did on the others. And do this thing. So pick a point and then not hold it. I can figure it out. It's gonna work. It worked. It's frog. Where's the oh, whatever. I don't want to see what that means. So don't tell me. Unless I know what urban language is. Okay, 1 crash, 2 crash, 3 crash, 4. We gotta go further. We did not get out the door. Then you hide the picture and you move the letter we want. Oh no, that's 16,000 lines. Lost. Lost in space. That's the line. You got to do the picture. There's your left. They don't look like they're finished letters. What about the stuff in the middle? Well, how otherwise it's just a saloon, a little Levi. Yeah. Okay, so yours. I get you. Go ahead. That's your, if you don't want to, that's it. Yeah, just knock it back. Okay, you guys, let's get you guys moving here. Somebody has so many choices. Well, today's 8th. It's all good now. So we got to put a line right there and close that. Make sure your gaps are closed. Your letters should be, and I'm not doing. What's your mission? Oh no, you broke it. Is it okay? Are you okay with it? Okay. All righty, friends and family, it's time to give up T-Mobile and move on to the next phase.
What is the next
I don't know, probably some implant they put in your brain.
You see, the problem with that is what keeps people from just sending ads into your mind.
What keeps them from sending ads into your mind now?
I don't have.
I mean,
to-
Taylor Swift's cardigan sweater thing is stuck in my head forever.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, let's do the Citibank commercial with Taylor Swift.
No idea.
Okay, we're gonna advertise your head.
It's looking kind of chilly out today. What am I gonna wear? I think I'll go with a cardigan.
Yep, even easier than that. And with a top-rated app that lets you deposit checks and transfer.
Okay, she weirds me out.
Why?
I don't know.
She's not bad to look at.
I know she is, but it's not pretty.
You racist.
All right, it's fine, pretty.
Okay. Let's go back to testing. So I'm looking at my letters. They're not grayed out. That should be my first indication there's an error in my drawing. Because if it doesn't gray out, that means I probably can't make it a 3D element. So when you get a lot of experience, 30 plus years, you can start saying, oh, I bet my mistake is a missing gap line that don't connect. And you literally, if you don't get them grayed out, you have to go and look at every connection point to find where the gap is. Now, these are really okay because I clicked off of them and got rid of the gray. But you want to make that a habit, is that if they're not gray, figure out why. If you can't find a reason why, then we're going to go to the next step. Now, we want this to be on all 4 of your pieces. Okay, the base plates will probably be just random, but this will be, when you get them to, then I can group your stuff together, which makes it so much easier for me to keep track of your stuff, okay? So let's take a look at all 4 pieces. I know some of you aren't done, but I want to get finished this project today because we need to get back on our birdhouse snowman stuff. I want this to happen on all 4 of those in the same pattern, right? There's a trick to it, okay? Circular 6 prime, but we got to do another trick. Because this is a 2D on a 3D element, we have some problems. Quite a few, actually, that we need to work through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make my 3D element first. Now, some of you are asking, how do we make it a 3D? We can't go up. Remember, your slide has to go back and forth. That's why I showed you earlier. We can only go in to the surface. So it's called embossing. Okay, we're going to emboss it in. So I'm going to go into my features tab. I'm going to use an extrude cut. Now I should get a preview. Yellow is the term for preview in SolidWorks. I don't need to go down all the way through it. The default of 0.1 is 1/8 of an inch deep. That is more than sufficient to see your letters. Okay. If you want to go a little bit more, you can go 0.2. But that's the max. Somewhere between 0.1 and 0.2. Don't go deeper than that. You're saving material. Yep. But if you're on the edge here, it's going to cut through. Don't cut through. So make sure you check it from the sides. Make sure everything's good. So that's why I said 0.1. If you do 0.1, you're not going to go through the edge because it's thicker. So I'm not have to worry about that. But that's a choice. I'm going to leave you make the choice. Okay. Choices are good. Students learn from making bad choices. I mean, your mom let you touch the stove once, and you didn't do it again. Right? Okay. So when you get that extrusion done, then my initials are now embedded into the surface. And again, they're all going to be very unique because even if you're tracing the same letters, you all make different mistakes, which keeps me happy. Okay, so we've got that. Everybody good?
I can't get to the extrude cut.
Okay, did you exit out your sketch?
I did.
Okay, go right click and edit your sketch and then go into extrude.
Oh, okay.
That'll get you there. Simon, what's your question, sir?
So I did a sketch, but I don't see like a yellow line.
Okay, here I come. The hard part's still coming. This is the easy part.
Huh, brother? So, keep going, sorry. Okay. See that, come back to sketch. That's the sketch. Angle features. Yep. Around the corner. Put a little around the corner. Okay. You got a lot of these. Could be tied together. Move. Just one move. Now, you have to use twice. Features. So you have to open each one individually. Features. Scoop cut. In this case, there it is. That's supposed to be on there. Probably not. Okay, so there's one here. Oh, man. Okay, what's going on? .02, that's less than 16. That's even less than a 32nd. What is that? They're alternate, so you have to pull them out. Sorry, independent problems I didn't anticipate. Oh, where's that double that's off? Yeah. You got that piece from big picture stuff. Yeah. Let's give it one of those. That you should. Oh, no, Maynard. You're on the bottom of the top. Oh. Fortunately, I'm God in here and I can fix that. They can't cut what's not there. It's why it's not there. Wrong button. That's it. Now I bet we can go in, hopefully, because we're cutting down. Oh, look at that. So now we can do. Put that out. Check the other one out. Ooh, 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 ooh. Features. There's the one. So AutoCAD's not people. AutoCAD would just done it, but they have errors on that. That's great. There you go. Yay. Success. What's the plan? My mom's playing. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's sweet. Those are oh, you use splines? I didn't know how to use splines. How to do them? You have to have 3D elements. Some of this is going to be. Why we're using planar? Okay, let's go. Children, the rest of you. What you need to do, because I'm not going to get back there, because it's going to take me a while to fix this 3D elements. You then need to go into, we're on the top plane right now. You need to now start a new sketch on the front plane and draw a center line axis from 0, 0, 0 straight up. Yeah, just straight up the axis. So we got it right now. These aren't connected here. And I don't know what level. So it's flying. Front or top will work. We go from the origin straight up. Or the right side will work too. So I get that. Oh, yeah, connect those because it's flying. Oh, it's red. Yeah, because they have their a spline is a different type of line. It has a z-axis. The z-axis is based on this one, not this one. And so it's trying to still do this. It's not a line to the top. It just means that it's a different type of line. You get this. That's good. So we're trying to just.
I'm serious.
All right, we're gonna go. Wait, we got 10 minutes to fix everything. What? He wants it. Better? What do you think? No, it's like, if it's any thinner, you won't see it on 3D print. Yeah. We'll be back with the letters. Sorry. Okay, what was the other question here? I got 8 minutes. Cut, street cut. Okay. So. we're doing the cut features. Yep, okay, we're gonna start this thing around a whole bunch. Okay, sorry, we got really just minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna do a new sketch. And I'm choosing off my floating because of just time. I want either the right plane or the front plane. I'm just gonna do front because it's easier. No, it's not easier. We'll go into the front plane. I'm gonna do a center line from the origin straight up. Just make it straight. Doesn't matter how long it is. Just a straight line straight up. Then exit that sketch. I just need that line, okay? Now, when I'm in my features mode, so let me in features because this is now a feature, okay? I'm gonna go into my linear pattern. I'm gonna change that to circular pattern. The first thing it wants right here at the top is an axis. I got to pick my feature first. So I'm going to pick my extrude cut. Some of you are then need to pick that 2 cuts. Some of you got 4 cuts. And it says pick this axis. So I want to pick here now, get that center line. Okay, and that's going to create the pattern going around. Now you're going to want to control how many. So the default could be 6 or 8, depending on what you've been doing. 8 is going to be a little awkward. So I'm going to drop this down to 4. So now it's on each of the 4 blocks based off this center point. So it's going to rotate differently for each one. When you get to where you're happy with it, hit your green check mark. What? Okay, the line, this line right here, on the front plane at the origin point straight up. So we're right here on the origin. There's my Y straight up on the front plane. Okay. Now my circular pattern's fighting me a little bit. So let's go and find out why. I know you're having a problem. Stop probleming. Stop probleming. So I've got to figure out why my circular pattern wigged out on. Yes. Well, no, I want 360. You know, in order to get in all plates, it needs to be 360. What I've got to look at here is most likely that I'm on a surface and these are all the same body. So, but I don't want to do the bodies. Let me clear that out. I'm going to try it again. Get more depth to it. Do a full preview on it.
What I did is instead of this circular pattern, then I did the curve.
You did what?
I did first the circular pattern, and then I did the code.
Oh, you did it first? Yeah, I think that's what I'm having to. Yes, sir. Are you on the right plane? Oh, gosh, we don't have time. Okay. Okay. Hang on, I'll be back. Your sketch. Choose your plane. Outer center line. You want to do that. There, straight up. All the way up there. I think it's harder as you make those to the side. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna put the last one. All right, we're gonna change up, yeah, we're gonna hang on. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we need to get on the other ones. Oh my gosh. Okay. So what we're having is a problem with it cutting the surface, and this is why it is. Okay. So let me go in and show you what I've got here, because this is what I was going to tell you. When I'm editing this feature and I'm looking at it in the partial preview, it says, yeah, this is going to work. But if I switch that to full preview, it doesn't. Okay, so that's like, oh, you freaking liar. Okay. And what's happening is the complexity of the cut, because it's still the same surface on all four of these, it's having a hard time figuring out the mathematical geometry. Okay, which is fine. Okay, we just have to do it a little different way. We still need our center point axis. So I'm going to exit out of this. I'm actually going to delete the circular pattern that I have. We have 2 minutes, right? No, I've got 7 minutes. Okay, so I'm just going to delete that out. Now, when you get this window right here, okay, I've got mine set to not do dependent features. When you're deleting a feature, if it has the sketch inside of it, don't delete the sketch. Okay, so just kind of watch that. If it comes up with a sketch inside, don't delete the sketch. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go back to my sketch for my my initials and edit that sketch. And I do not have a center point here. Okay, my center line doesn't show. I need that center line really, really badly right now. And it's happening in the future of this, right? So how do we get it to go in the past? So I'm gonna have to exit my sketch for a minute, take the sketch that has the axis line, hold my left button down on it, we did this the other day, and slide it up before my initials. So maybe where the image is, or even before the image, or heck, take it all the way up to the top. It doesn't matter. Just has to happen before your letter sketch. So that when I go into the sketch for my letters, this axis still shows. Okay, so I'm manipulating time of function. Okay, now I'm going to do a linear sketch pattern, then change that to circular sketch pattern. So one's a linear feature pattern, one's a linear sketch pattern. Now I select that, I still need that axis. Well, okay, I can pick the axis, sorta, kinda, but not until I get the patterns. So I'm gonna window, oh, come on, give me the dang picture. Okay, so there, I pick a line, it's picking at this point, yay. Okay, so I just picked the point. Now that's not always the best thing, but once I get that, I'm gonna clear that out. Point 1 is still identified. So you have to get to where you can identify this point. The axis should do it. But then my other elements, if you try and do a window, guess what? It doesn't exist. You can't do a window pick here. You have to go through, oh, look at that. Change this to this. Is there a way I can pick the origin? Oh, come on. We're gonna run out of time. All right, let's finish this then. We'll do this part first thing on Tuesday, and then you'll submit them to be graded. Let me find a quicker way to do this because we are not gonna have time to fix this. I need this origin to be here. Okay, now is there no way I can do that in this sketch? Actually, we can do it right here. I'm in the edit sketch. I can just do it. Draw a circle at the origin and make it for construction. That'll fix the whole freaking problem. Okay, we're just gonna make this work because I can do anything in 2 minutes. So just draw any size circle, but make it for construction. Then go into your linear, do your circular sketch, start with that circle, clear it out, point one's identified, and now we got to identify all these other buggers. So now you have to go through and pick each one. For those of you who did a bajillion little tiny lines, sorry, life sucks once in a while. I said keep it simple, but you know, that's kind of ways. Now, yeah, it's kind of sucky. So sorry. Make the circle for construction. And then you can pick the circle that identify the center point. For those that have multiple sketches, you then need to do that same process twice. Yay, you. Look at what you've learned today. Now I got to pick all these little lines because it takes a while. And then get them all, and then get them all, and then get them all, and then get them all because I got a whole minute left on most of you guys. There we go. I got them. I look. There's my previews. Yay! Like, oh, I don't care. And which one did I miss?
The one.
Oh, that little line there. Stop. Okay, real quick. I got to do another one. There, here, there. Whoa.
Oh, you're still doing it.
Yeah, I just add it back in. Okay, check that. There. Okay, we'll pick up. We'll do it later. That bell is early.
Also, I don't know why, but mine works. Like,
Sometimes it will. It depends on how many interruptions I got. It dropped the data is what it did. So, all right, you guys online, thank you. We'll pick this up again on Tuesday. No,
Thank you.
I drew this entire.
Really quick,
yeah.
can I ask, is there a way to duplicate one of those shapes? Because I
Yeah,
have the
just
same
copy.
initial.
Inside the move is a copy option.
Okay, great, thank you.
Works just like the move. Did that work? What?
I don't have a pretty, but.
Oh, dang. Okay, but everything fits in there. Okay, let me know. Oh, that was crazy. Let me go back this up a little bit. All right.
I hope it stays.
If it froze, it didn't.
Well, no, but it saved and then it froze. So I hope it stays. But
Oh, that was a whirlwind. There's a lot of questions. Oh, easy. You having fun, sir?
yeah,
Okay. As long as you're having fun.
it's definitely interesting to try to figure out.
Yeah. I'm thinking some projects gonna be a little more complex than this.
All right, okay.
Cool. All righty, we'll see you.
I drew all the boxes.
Oh, good. Now you gotta get them all into SolidWorks.
No, I drew all in SolidWorks.
Oh, good. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, you are so fast.
It wasn't that far. It's just
Yeah.
flat rectangles, lines, offsets, and extrusions.
Exactly. Yeah, you're gonna do well. You're
My
gonna do really well.
workhouse on the other hand.
Yeah,
It's gonna be,
I think you'll have fun with it. I think you'll find some things you can fix on it in SolidWorks.
and then
It'll make it easier.
are there, do you have 8-inch dowels?
I do.
Okay, so,
You need a few of those.
like 10.
10 feet?
I think that's how much I measured the total to be.
10 feet of dowel. Are you doing the whole thing in log? Is that what you're doing?
No, just in between each
10 feet? I hope it's not. That's a lot.
is.
That's a lot. 10 feet?
It is 8-inch dowels, but yes.
Okay, I'll get some more order. Woo, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.